not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously, because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do. And I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular. It's getting that person money. It's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. You feel alone even though the people surround you. Popping pills every night even though you know they can't solve it. The emotional pain, it just seems way too heavy. Your mind is racing, wanna scream, somebody help me. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. These type of people sit right under our noses. We don't find out till we're on IG scrolling. We post a few memes, but then it keeps on happening. Something's gotta change, we gotta start talking and telling the truth without the fear of judgment. Gotta come together and really start loving and heal these people, cause they slowly dying. Help them believe that their life is worth living. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. I pray there's an end to this suicide demon. We losing people too soon, they cutting and bleeding. They think no one cares, so I wrote this song to tell you, my God, He cares and He can heal you. He sees you when you're crying yourself to sleep, wondering if anybody hears me. You tell yourself you can't go on no more, but your life is worth fighting for. Don't leave this world too soon. There's so many people who really love you. Jesus is calling for you. He knows and He can heal you. I know you're hurting deep down inside, but my God, He can.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Well, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem? Ooh. You said if I don't have your money, there was going to be a problem. So Oprah is standing her ground like, bitch, I'm in charge. You know, you may have a $250 million studio over there that you film all your shows and movies and stuff on, but I have the empire. That's what Oprah said.
Oh, these are her exact words. Allegedly.
I made this up. But
allegedly.
I made it all up. But there was a rumor that they were beefing. But Tyler confirms that they don't have any issues. So it says it was recently reported on the rumors that was swirling that the twosome were on the outs over constructive criticism over Perry's show. Well, I got some constructive criticism, and we can be on the outs, Tyler, and I don't give a damn because I'm going to make a promo out of this anyway and share it to your page. I need the scenes on have and have-nots to be like 5% shorter, each one. I want you to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, because this is supposed to be a soap opera. No one's dialogue on The Young and the Restless is like this. You don't have to talk about the random plant in the corner.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the MSU Alumni Week edition of Living a Rich Life, a talk show for people who believe in change in all aspects of life. I am your host, Rich James, and I believe living a rich life is made of 6 elements: good health, strong relationships, financial freedom, goals and achievement, extraordinary experiences, and philanthropy. Today's focus is going to be on strong relationships and how to develop them. So we're going to give you a few tips just to build a strong relationship with family, friends, close loved ones. But before we do that, I have a featured guest here tonight. So let's talk about it. She studied at Morgan State University, and she is the CEO of Big Media Agency, a mother, a friend, and I believe she's in a sorority. Please welcome Miss Christina Royster.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yes. So I'm happy to have you here, right? So first and foremost, we have fun on Living a Rich Life, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to play a few games. I'm going to let folks, your supporters, your followers, they're going to get to know you because I'm going to ask you some questions. So it's pretty much an interview. We're featuring you.
All right. I like to be featured.
All right. It's all about you. It's all about you. So generally speaking, there's 2 questions that I always ask, okay? One of them, which we'll save to the end, but I like to kick things off with allowing you, featured guest, to tell us who is Christina Royster.
Who is Christina Royster? So as you said before, I am a mother. I'm also a daughter. I'm also a friend. I, at my core, am a writer. I've always been a storyteller. Since I was a child, as an only child, I was really trying to entertain myself. So I often read stories, loved to write stories, and I became a reporter from there. And that led me down this long road of becoming a marketer and master storyteller.
Oh, okay. So speaking of storytelling, so you wrote some books. Tell us a little bit about that. Have you wrote any books? What was some of the topics? If it's out there still, by all means, please share.
So I wrote a book called The Travel Butterfly, and it's a book about a butterfly that travels to a variety of countries to introduce the child, reading the story, to a friend from that country. So, for example, when the butterfly goes to China, she introduces Mei Ling, and the words, yes, Mei Ling, and the words on that page are, "My friend Mei Ling lives near a great wall, which is far to the east of here, and that great wall takes Mei Ling to places far and near." And so the whole purpose was to really begin the idea of showing children that they can relate to people from other cultures and that we have more in common than we have different.
Okay, I like that. I have another guest that does kids books, and I think it'd be good for you to connect with her if you're still trying to write.
Sure.
Speaking of connect, how can folks follow you and connect with you?
Yes. So you can follow Big Media Agency on Facebook at Big Media Agency. And you can follow Big Media Agency on Twitter at Big Media Agency. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at Big Media CEO. And you can follow Big Media Agency at Real Big Media Agency. And that's probably all you need in terms of the connections.
Okay. So let's talk about this the CEO thing.
Okay.
Own marketing. And what folks don't know, because we work together, and those that have not seen my website, you're down there. So she does great work. That's the first thing. So
Thank you
please,
very
by
much.
all means, you check out my website. You can see some of her work. You can go to bigmediaagency.com.
Correct.
Right. I did take a look at your page. It's changed.
It has?
Well, it doesn't have your team. Normally your team is on there.
Oh, I did. I was making a few changes and I need to add everybody back.
You're going to add them back? Okay.
Maybe.
All right. All right. So I do want to talk about your company because, again, the topic is strong relationships, and we'll kind of roll everything in together. All right. So how would you, what are the core capabilities of your agency? What do you provide?
Okay, so Big Media Agency is a full-service agency. We are really focused on integrated marketing communications. So earlier I talked to you about storytelling. When we think about marketing, it's all about getting your message and getting your story out there to your intended customer with the most resonance possible. So since we live now in 2019, we know there are a variety of ways to do that. We're not just talking about print advertising anymore or television. We're also talking about digital advertising, and we're talking about website design. And within a website design, we're talking about search engine optimization or SEO, helping your intended customer find your website based on certain keywords. And we're talking about pay-per-click advertising, maybe.
So for folks that SEO.
Yes, SEO stands for search engine optimization.
Okay, that's for the folks
Yes.
that might not know that.
Right.
I think I knew that because I read your website. I'm sorry, continue.
So integrated marketing communications is really about using all of the tools and tactics in your, let's say, wheelhouse, or that you're able to put together in a campaign, and using those to drive traffic to your website, drive traffic to your social media, etc.
Okay.
So when you do that, you're able to connect with more clients,
Right. Okay.
more people who are actually probably already looking to find someone like you.
Okay. That sounds good because I do know, like I said, you've helped me with some things. This would be one of the items. You helped me get that set up, and the mug sales are doing very well.
Yes.
I'm surprised as well they're doing, so I can say that. Okay, all right. So that's the capabilities. So how long have you been in business?
So I've actually, if I could just kind of back up a little bit and talk about, okay, all right, so I'll start where I want to start, right?
Okay.
So I had been working in marketing communications for quite a while, and in particular in the Baltimore market. Before that, I was a reporter for Baltimore City paper, so the whole storytelling thing. I'm actually more of an author of articles than books at this point. But I realized that I was always getting, as a reporter, I was always being pitched to by people who wanted to sell their story. So PR people who wanted to get their story in the newspaper. And then I wound up going into PR and marketing because I realized that I was a very outgoing person. I could engage people through pitching and pitching stories, and I had a curiosity about the industry, really wanted to know more about it. So I wound up becoming I worked for a few nonprofits, in particular in the education sector, in public relations and marketing. And then I wound up becoming the director of marketing communications for Irvine Nature Center, which is an environmental center. It's actually located in the Owings Mills area, but really in the Caves Valley in Owings Mills, near there's a large sprawling golf course. Really helped to brand the organization, helped to position it, did a lot of television, telling people more about the environment, etc. And what was the original? I talk about myself a little bit too much. I get carried away.
It's okay.
So we were going to, how did I get started in the business?
And how long have you been in business?
Right. So I'm saying all that to say I was working on a variety of marketing projects, and people in my family and friend circle started to ask me, well, can you help me with this website? Can you help me with this logo? Can you help me with this, design? And so I began in business as Leverage Communications, and I founded that company back in 2010. So I've been in business for about 9 years, and I rebranded to Big Media Agency a few years ago. So that's the whole story. That's how Big Media Agency began.
So name change, but ultimately 9 years you've been in business. Okay, good deal. So what types of companies do you serve? You serve companies? Do you serve individual clients? Tell us a little bit of something, because as a friend of mine likes to tease sometimes, I do my research, so I do know you work with some folks in Hollywood, a couple of people. I'm a fan of some of the individuals, so tell us, some of the companies that you work with and some of the clients that you potentially have worked with.
So one of the clients I've worked with most recently is the actor, director, producer Bill Duke. You may know him from way back as a character actor in a movie called Car Wash. He played the character of Abdullah, but he's a very familiar face throughout film noir, throughout movie history. Predator.
Menace to Society,
a classic. So, the classic line. I'm not going to, I want to be sensitive to our Living a Rich Life audience. I'm not going to say the words, but the famous line from Menace to Society, which is, you effed up, don't you? Right. Everybody knows that word. That line. And American Gigolo. So what people don't know about him is not only has he acted in a variety of films, he's actually produced and directed a lot of not just films but also television shows, and probably could be dubbed the godfather of African American TV and film.
And you helped facilitate a lot of that stuff.
Well,
you played a part in just in managing this marketing stuff.
Right. So he released a book last year. It's called Bill Duke, My 40-Year Career on Screen and Behind the Camera. So I helped to get that book out there to the masses, created a website for him, created social media platform to really engage people, to have them really get a clear understanding of the depth of the body of work that he has done throughout the years.
So I'm going to stop you right there, because we're going to take a quick break.
Right.
And then we'll be back more on Living a Rich Life featuring Christina Royster here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned, then fucked over. But remain strong through the past over. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it advance over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me to let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I peep the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save you, we too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry favors, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper, I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patient run that, yeah, nigga OT, cause they wanna see me down like I'm an NCT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me, say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE. Now excuse me while I get back to PC. HOP ain't used to sleep while your third eye always on me. I'm steady green just to feed the team. My boo, she know that I'm king when chasing my dream. These niggas it seems I rip them, trash them, then put on new jeans. Man, see the problem is, man, you know, I keep it 100, man. Yeah, man, like if I got it, then you got it. Yeah, man, but if I don't got it, then I'ma give it. You feel me? But I definitely got you through the ride, man. Let's get it, yo.
I'm really getting tired of ungrateful ass niggas. They really about to turn me to a hateful ass nigga. Like I was never there when you never had figures, pull triggers.
Now listen to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business-minded individuals and just people in general. I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange Show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the lovely Christina Royster, big media agency. So during this segment, we like to play games, as I mentioned, right? I figured since I'm catching it too. Let's try this here. See that? That's a whole lot better. Okay, technology is so finicky. A little something there. But as I was saying, we generally have a game that we play. And this is called movie quotes. So it's a little something different. I figured you're in marketing. You might have some movie quotes, So we'll give it a whirl.
We'll try it.
All right.
Game.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
Now is not the time for fear, doctor. That comes later. What movie?
Batman Returns.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Batman Returns. Okay. See that?
Got that.
That was an easy one, right? How about this one? I'll be back.
Oh, that's definitely Schwarzenegger. What was it? Terminator?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. See.
Okay. 2 for 2.
Right. 2 for 2 so far. How about this one? I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, okay, that's got to be De Niro or somebody like that in one of those mafia movies.
What's the movie?
Godfather.
Godfather. Okay.
All right.
So far, so good. Here's one. May the force be with you.
Oh, Star Wars. That's easy.
Okay. All right.
But don't make them harder. Keep it on the easy road.
We'll keep it going. All right. I got. E.T. Phone home.
Okay, that has to be the easiest one. E.T.
All right. Okay. All right. I got one more. It's a favorite of mine. So you ready?
I don't know.
Show me the money.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. See. Okay. All right. There you go. Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
That was so easy.
That was easy.
Those good classic movies.
Right.
That's what I do. I'm gonna give it some hard ones.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
But nobody needs to know. No one needs to know. So we're gonna keep this thing going. We're gonna keep it going. Before I do that, a quick announcement again for folks out there. Bourbon and Boy Shorts presents Bourbon and Broadcasting Podcast Mixer. It's gonna be October 9th from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Doors will open at 7 p.m.
Where is it?
So it's going to be at Montego Bay Bar and Grill. And if you go to my Instagram, livingarichlife_, You'll see the link. Just click on the link. It's free, so everyone likes free. Come have a good time. There'll be a lot of different folks there, including myself. And that is next week. Okay. So, from a marketing standpoint, was that good?
That was pretty good.
She said pretty good.
I mean, you know.
That's what we need you for. See, that's how that all works. That's how that all works. Okay, well, let's keep it going. So again, the topic today is focused on strong relationships, right? So I assume that in building big media, you had to engage and have some pretty strong relationships. Tell us about some of the strong relationships within your life.
So I think when you think about relationships, you really have to look at where do they begin, the nucleus of the relationship, and then build out from there. So, not to get too philosophical, but as children, we learn relationships within our family. I think the strength of my relationships really is with my family right now. Very close, obviously, to my parents, very close to my daughters. Those are relationships that I absolutely, are very near and dear to me, that I thrive on. The principles that you build within your family can mirror out to, your friendships, your neighborhood, your local community, your world. At the core of those relationships are things like trust, openness, honesty, follow up, making sure that when you say that you're going to be somewhere or do something, that you do it. And with my children in particular, and their kids will call you out on stuff. You said you were taking me to the movies,
Right.
So really making sure that you do what you say and that you say what you do. I'm not perfect. Many of us aren't. So certainly I don't do that all the time, but I try my best to, and especially in business, to make sure that I follow up with what I say I'm going to do.
Right. Understandable. Okay, all right. So I did put together some helpful tips when it comes to developing positive and healthy relationships. So you touched on some of those, right? So other ones, accept and celebrate differences, right?
That's good.
Listen effectively, because sometimes folks don't be listening. Give people your time, right? I think that's important.
Yeah.
Develop your communication skills, because we all communicate in different ways.
Right.
This one I thought was very interesting when I manage mobile technology.
That's interesting.
Well, that's in this day and age, it makes sense.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
It makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Learn to give and take feedback. That's important. Some folks can't. And then you mentioned trust. And then one that stood out, develop empathy. So, those things help when it comes to developing relationships.
As it relates to managing mobile technology, I would just like to add, unfortunately, technology and mobile technology makes it easier for us to communicate with people. And so it's a fortunate thing and it's an unfortunate thing, because a lot of times what we do is we try to replace communication with humans, with virtual communication, and it's not the same. To really have an authentic relationship, you really need to. You can get so much, sitting face to face with someone, seeing their expressions, hearing the tone of their voice, etc. The nonverbal communication.
I paid attention in that marketing 101 class.
That's a good thing. I'm so glad you did that. So, we really want to be careful to establish those relationships authentically.
Right.
I know just from email, when you send an email to someone, you can't hear their voice, you can't hear the tone, you don't know if they're really serious about what they're saying or if they're, joking so a lot of times the miscommunication can come across if it sounds too harsh, or if the words maybe are misintended.
Not make believe. That's what you want to say.
It's not make believe.
Just making up stuff.
Right.
Okay. Oh goodness, child, that's funny. But I think which leads into another question. But before I go there, because you mentioned your parents.
Yes.
Right, and I believe your dad went to Morgan.
My dad went to Morgan.
Okay.
I think all 4 of my first cousins on my mother's side went to Morgan. I call him my adopted grandfather. So my dad not just went to Morgan, but he was also a professor at Morgan. Okay. And then my adopted grandfather was also a professor at Morgan, although he did not go to Morgan. So Morgan State University, the great Morgan State University, has a very strong reputation in my family. And my family is successful across the board. Regardless of, age demographics. Morgan State University, in my family alone, has produced a high-level nurse administrator, a high-level graphics artist who is photographer, who has exhibited across the East Coast, Eastern Seaboard, a comedian who's hilarious, who's also a school teacher. Oh, I forgot about my aunt. My aunt went to Morgan State as well, and she was a long-standing school teacher in Baltimore City
Christina
and County
Royster,
schools.
CEO of Big Media Agency.
Thank you very much.
Right. See. Okay. All right. I like that. Well put together. So, as we talk about the strong relationships and keeping the connection, what advice would you give to the younger generation? Because with the younger generation. And you talk about the social media. I mean, I've gone to functions sometimes, and just the dynamics, right? Even with my daughter, you can be in the same house, and you're gonna send me a text. No, you get up and come and talk to me. Right. You send a text. So, what advice or direction would you give the younger generation?
So the piece I've already stated about not having electronic communication substitute for authentic communication is key. But the other piece, I think, for young people as a whole is to really take advantage of those relationships with people who have come before you, who are, older, wiser. I think in this society, unfortunately, young people will discredit or devalue people who have already walked their road, sometimes because they think they're not hip, they're not cool, what can they know about my life? But you have to remember, at one point they were hip and cool in their time. And
not everybody.
well, okay, not everybody. Not everybody can be Rich James. Let's just be clear.
True.
But,
okay.
But
I'm just messing.
A lot of people in their day, we'll call it their heyday, they were, the hipsters. And I think it's important for young people to take a moment, listen to the advice that's being shared with you, be appreciative of that advice, and use it. Take what you can use. And a lot of times it's highly relatable. I know, I have a 16-year-old. She's a very good girl, but I can already see, the slight, thing that teenagers do. Like, what's she talking about? I know everything. Why is she talking to me about this?
Right.
And I wish that, and I see a lot of myself in her because she looks so much like me. So I wish that when I was her age, I'd taken some of the advice that was shared with me more seriously. I tried not to, I remember my mother used to sit me down for these long conversations. I don't even know what she was talking about half the time. But all I knew is, I better go to my little Roman Catholic school, get great grades, and stay out of trouble. But some of the gems that she shared during those conversations, I wish I could go back to now because, I hate to say it, but most of the time she was right. So those are, we're teaching our generations to be more technology heavy and to use technology as a resource. But don't forget about using people as resources as well, the advice they share, and also reaching out to them to solicit that advice.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned your parents quite a bit here today. Did you have strict parents? Scale of 1 to 10.
They might be watching this. Let me see how I want to position. Marketing is about positioning.
Scale of 1 to 10.
So I would say that they were probably a 9, 8.5, depending on how good my grades were, which were mostly good.
If they're not watching, I'm going to tell them anyway.
I know you're going to tell them. See how that goes?
No, I'm just playing.
Pretty strict. I was an only child, and they just wanted me to stay out of trouble, which I did for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, you did, because like I said, you're a Morgan grad, as am I. And I think you did stay out of trouble.
Yeah, because you didn't see me at the parties, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. I went to some, but you just weren't there. That's what it was.
Oh, that could have been it.
Yeah,
too.
that's probably it.
Okay, all righty. Well, let's keep it going, because that's what we do. So in terms of a mentor, did you have a mentor in throughout your career? What advice would you give? So I guess there's a couple of different questions, but did you have a mentor?
I have had.
And do you have one now?
Oh, okay. Right. So I've had several mentors throughout my career. Many of them have come from the career itself, the career environment. I can think back to years ago when I was an intern at the Afro-American newspapers, which is still in existence here in Baltimore. I was an intern there back in I guess it was the early 90s, maybe. So there was an editor there who really, took a liking to my writing, and she really helped to champion me, and I wound up authoring a column at the age of like 18 or 19. And she let me go cover Thurgood Marshall's resignation from the Supreme Court at the NAACP office at the time. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was at the dentist, and I saw this man who looked so very familiar to me, and I was like, I know you, but I couldn't place it. So it turns out he was the director of public relations at Morgan State when I was there. His name is Fred Douglas. And I believe he helped me get that internship at the Afro, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, it was a lot of years ago. But people like that who take note of talent in young people, certainly have mentored me. I had a journalism teacher at Morgan State, Robert Hilson, Mr. Hilson, who was a writer at the Baltimore Sun at the time. And so I learned a lot from him in terms of, how to cover stories. I took a news writing class of his at Morgan. I worked in Hollywood, had a lot of mentors there. Still people who are mentors, who check in on me. Bill Duke was one of those mentors. He gave me my first job in Hollywood. I was a Thurgood Marshall scholar years ago, and I was called, I was asked to be one of the student ambassadors for a photo shoot for a public service announcement. That's what it was, in New York. So I had to go up to New York and sort of be on set with some of the celebrities who were in this public service announcement for the Thurgood Marshall Fund. And so I was assigned to Nancy Wilson, and I remember, being on set with her, and she was so graceful.
Wilson, the singer?
The Nancy Wilson,
the singer.
Nice. I think somewhere my dad has pictures of me with her that someone took on set, and they kept it at their house. But anyway, she was oh so gracious and wonderful. So I met her, I met Jack A. During that time.
227.
Bill Duke, 227.
For those that know.
And also Danny Glover. So throughout my Hollywood career, I've met a lot of people, especially when we talk about people of color working in Hollywood, and, at the time, particularly African Americans, there weren't a ton of people, who were working in Hollywood at the time, if you look at Hollywood as a whole. So, when they saw young people coming along who were earnest about, working in their craft, and, they wanted to help to move them along.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more Christina Royster, BeExposedRadio.com, Living a Rich Life talk show. Let's talk about it. We'll be right back.
Listen to this flashback of Skyline Radio Show.
So where we at? Where we talk about the effects and what's going on in these schools?
Yes.
And what people don't understand. Just real briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what people say bullying is or is not. So bullying comes in many forms. It's a teasing, it's the cyberbullying, it's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the posting of pictures and people's personal information to pretty much cause them harm, to have them feel insecure. It's the sex assaults that people actually put out there. There are physical assaults, and there are mental assaults and emotional assaults. And what I like to remind individuals that any aggressive behavior towards anyone that is unwanted and unwarranted in an individual asks you to stop. Let's stop there. Stop.
And they should be respecting that.
Respecting that and respecting yourself, because when you're able to respect another person, you're able to respect yourself. And the way that you're able to show that respect is that you know that you have a gift and you know you're uniquely made and that you matter, and then you also acknowledge that the next person beside you matters as well.
Right.
You know, and we lose that sometimes. Bullying is a behavior that underestimates the lives and legacy of you. I'm sure when they was bullying me, and I'm sure when they was bullying you, they didn't understand who you're going to become later on. I didn't know.
Right, because I'm popping. I can't pop. All right, let me tell you, all those people who felt like they wanted to say whatever to me, look at me now. It's like, no, y'all don't understand, but I've been through some things, okay?
And you know what? No. I applaud you and I salute you, because a lot of times we do not take the time to say, I'm okay, and I'm okay with me, and there's nothing wrong with me, and I'm amazing, and I'm blessed, and I'm strong, and I matter.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Skyline Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
White keys only have this bitch jumping.
Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel up. Let's do it. If I sit around.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the lovely, talented CEO, Christina Royster. So during this segment, something I like to call a rich life moment in time.
Okay.
So what does that mean? It's a rhetorical question. We talk about kind of like when we first met, and then what I do is I like to, I'm big on memories, so I like to capture, you know, when you blow up, right? Don't forget us little people. So I have my poster, my poster here, which I have all my guests sign.
Okay.
So if you would do the honors of signing that for me, anywhere. And I don't know why folks don't be wanting to get up and stuff, but you can sign all that from up there. You got sign it anywhere you like.
Great. Thank you.
This is a rich life moment in time, and while you do that, like I said, we both went to Morgan, but I didn't really, we didn't really hang out, or I didn't really see. I mean, I see you, I saw you, I knew you, because you're an AKA, right?
I am an AKA.
Right. So I knew you. I knew a couple of your line sisters, a couple of your sorors, but like I said, didn't really see you out. And I think we started chatting a little more afterwards. I think I posted something on Facebook, and you turned around and you gave me a shout out, and I said, oh. And then we kind of became, I'll say, BFFs then. So as a result, it trickled down into working on a website and helping me with this whole launching of Living a Rich Life. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
Of course.
And I wanted to say thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
So as I said to you before, my father was a professor at Morgan State.
Yes.
So a lot of people didn't see me out at the parties.
Oh yeah.
But there were some. I tipped in, made my presence known at some of them. But when I was at Morgan State, I was doing things like, being assistant editor of the newspaper and being editor of the newspaper, and I was in the choir, and I was in a lot of activities and things. And then being from Baltimore, I had a lot of friends that I hung out with locally.
That didn't go to college?
Of course they went to college.
Oh, okay, all right. Just somewhere else. Oh, okay, all right. That's all right, though. That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. So, all right, well, let's keep this thing going here. Let's keep this going.
I'm going to take up this whole side of the board with this.
Oh, as long as it's legible. Okay. I'm a somewhat of a OCD. Don't be writing on the side. Mess around and be writing on the table. Then our producer Nate going to be telling me, hey, the guest done wrote on the table with the Sharpie. We can't have that.
No.
All right. So I want to get back into some of this. Okay, there we have it. All done? There we have it, folks. Oh. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined.
That's by Thoreau.
Thoreau. So proud of you, Christina Royster. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite quotes.
Okay. I figured you were a writer. Most writers do have quotes.
Yes.
Put this right there. So that's good there. Very good. All right. We appreciate that. So now I got your signature. Sweet. So I want to talk a little more about big media.
Sure.
Okay. So how would you describe your company culture? How would you describe it, right? Just give me some examples. Not even examples. How would you describe it? Honestly, you seem so intense.
What do you mean intense?
Yeah, like yours. I mean, of course, if you're running a business, you got to be serious, right? But what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Okay, so there are two different.
I guess that's what I was getting.
Okay, what do I do for fun? So let's start with company culture first.
Okay.
So I incorporate fun into everything I do, believe it or not. I'm always one step away from a joke, from a smile. I infuse my life with humor. In terms of company culture, we're really about putting clients first, making sure that the engagements that we involve ourselves with them on are exciting, fun, energetic. We bring create a high level of creativity, a high level of sensitivity to the company, to the culture. In terms of what I do for fun, well, remember I have two daughters, age 16 and 8, so some of my fun comes from their fun.
Okay.
So whether that is, seeing dance recitals or, taking my youngest to gymnastics class or being a part of that activity. I do love movies, including, movies of all genres. I don't get to really watch television and movies as much as I used to years ago. But
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another part.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
okay, I already know what that is. Excuse me, but I still enjoy, there's some shows that I have to see on a regular basis, So, I also enjoy audiobooks. So if I spend time in the car, I enjoy hearing audiobooks. I've been listening to Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, some positive thinking books, like The Power by Rhonda Byrne, another one about advertising. So I try to make the most of my time. I enjoy singing. I enjoy.
Because be careful what you say on the
show.
show.
Lord, why did I say that? Can I sing what?
We might say, hey, just give us a little something. Maybe you could sing us into the break. I mean, just
sing you into the break.
Well, you're gonna sing now that you done said so. No, I ain't gonna put you on the spot like that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because I tell you, we keep it 100.
Keep it real.
Yes, absolutely. Don't tell us. Hey, that's like me saying I tell jokes.
Okay. Are you gonna tell a joke into the break?
Hey,
this is your audience. They're ready for
That's
you.
a joke right there. See that? I got you laughing. That's all that matters. So okay, well, I got to take a break. But what I do when you come back, I want to talk about how you balance everything. Since you mentioned that, the kids, having fun, running the company, you know, all that good stuff. We want to talk about kind of some balance.
Okay.
Before we do take a break, again, as you know, one of the elements of living a rich life is philanthropy. So I have partnered with Johns Hopkins, American Heart Association, Heart Walk. So by all means, this information here, I'm gonna send out a link. You can donate, you can join my team. It's gonna be a good cause.
That's homecoming.
Yes, it is. But it's early in the morning. It's early in the morning. So,
okay.
It's gonna be a good time. So again, Heart Walk. I will post this information on my site. And by all means, whether it's $1 or 10,000, we take it all. And not we, but American Heart Association. All right. With that being said, we'll be right back. More Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Christina Royster, only on BeExposedRadio.com. We're talking about it. We'll be right back.
Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
period.
The real. Right. That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to, if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio.
Long live Pop. Y'all can go ahead and cry now. I'm gonna show these niggas what to do with one of your beats, man. I am Gas, by the way. Strong woman story should have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated babysitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should've been blessed with certain chances. Looked down upon, getting all the hurting glances. Making men change up all the twerking stances. She never cried about the pain, only gritted her teeth. But most soldiers never get a flower or a wreath. She like G.I. Jane in the war with no relief. Don't recognize why killers was going through her beef. She said more prayers than the nun did. After seeing so much struggles with only one kid, the clinic said baby number 2 couldn't be undid. 9 months later, delivery and it's one big. But this time it was an older dude. But the shit happened so fast she barely.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do. And you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene, they are purposely trying to say and do things to you to get your emotions up, right? And then once they get your emotions up, then it's like, oh, that's what we needed. Now we're going to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. You know, so I'm saying we need to have these discussions with our children, you know, and make them understand in this day and age, and it's every day and age really, but we'll just say this day and age for the sake of it being so prevalent on social media, like you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think a lot of us as black people are just scared to still tell our children that there are a group of people out here that are your enemies.
Join us every Monday at 12 noon for Black by Demand radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Christina Royster here on BeExposedRadio.com. Again, I am your host, Rich James, and we are having good conversation, good laughs, and we're talking strong relationships and getting to know Christina Royster. So we good? You having a good time so far?
I'm having a good time.
All right. Okay. It only gets better.
Not bad at all.
It only gets better.
All right.
All right. So we played a game earlier with the movie quotes.
Right.
I think the next game we want to play is called Either Or.
Oh, Lord.
Right.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to get a sense of how do you balance life, right? So again, marketing company, family, friends, because all those things, all those relationships require, a certain bit of attention. So how do you do it? How do you balance that?
So I think balance requires a day-to-day check-in. Just like you have a project management system at your job, right?
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, that would be you. You're the tool.
I'm the tool.
Okay. Well, you have to look at what's on your plate, what's coming down the pike. Family will always come first for me, because spending time with my girls, that's time I can't get back. They're not going to be 16 and 8 forever, just as I know that they weren't babies forever. So that's really important to me. And I think everything else kind of comes after that or around that. So, business obviously is important I have to sustain that.
Right.
In order to sustain them. And friends, I have a great group of friends who understand that I'm a creative and that I have responsibilities. And I think that they kind of take me as I am with that. So, I may not talk to you for a little bit, but when I talk to you, it's going to be a quality conversation.
Yes.
We're going to get together, we're going to laugh, we're going to enjoy each other's company. And so that's a part of that balance as well.
Yeah, and I think that's important. To me, those are true friends, right? So you don't have to talk to them every day.
Right.
But there's those certain occasions that you invite them,
right,
and make sure they're there. And when you do talk to them, it's like you haven't skipped a beat.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
So, so those important occasions, I never forget their birthdays. I have a really good friend. Her birthday is tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'll be calling her and leaving a goofy message on her phone and finding out.
Let me see something. Did you call me for my birthday?
I think I did. Don't do that. Don't make me look. I was like panicked over here. I was like, did I? Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So I appreciate that. That was very nice. It was very nice. Okay. All right. So that's the balance. So again, keeping with the theme here, because we want folks to know that you're out there. Are you taking on new contracts? or because sometimes folks, they just kind of need to take a
Right.
pause because you got so much.
Right.
It's a small business, so
Right.
tell us.
So I have a team in place. So I'm really only involved at the strategic level at this point.
Okay.
And so I have a team in place, and they accomplish the work. So the answer to that would be yes.
Okay.
And as sort of a strategist, creative director type, I funnel the clients through the process, and then my team takes over from there.
Okay, all right. That sounds like that's that CEO talk. All right. So, as you're doing that, right, you're developing your strategy, and I'm sure clients, they have all types of questions. What's some of the questions that they ask? You ever get something like a crazy question?
Well, it depends.
A crazy request, maybe.
A crazy request.
Just something to think about, right? 'Cause folks, they. So in my world, let me help you out here. So in my world, they would give, just certain things they would like to see, or
Sure.
certain requirements. Like if you building a building, well, I want the window to be triangular. That's just craziness, right? For so many reasons.
Right.
So what's something crazy that
So I'm not sure that I can say that they have crazy requests, but the nature of business is competitive. So many of them want to outpace their competitors.
Okay.
Some of them are, for example, I worked with a businesswoman recently who wants to take sort of the national stage and the global stage as it relates to entrepreneurship. So she wants to outpace some folks who she's seen out there, but really don't have the bio that she has. They don't have the resonance. They don't have, their story doesn't have the same appeal. So they typically come in and they tell me that they want to be, they tell me kind of the places, the publications they want to appear in, the television news shows they want to appear on, and the people they want to outpace,
okay.
that type of thing. But I'm not sure, nobody is calling me saying they want to have a business meeting at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's a little crazy. Let me be the first.
No, I won't be answering that phone at 3 a.m.
Okay, all right. Good to know. All right. So would you do anything differently if given the opportunity? I think we all, I don't like to use the word regrets because everything should be a learning experience. Considering, again, the whole living a rich life, we focus on change. People can change, you readjust, you refocus. But there's sometimes I think, I know I'm gonna do this differently if that opportunity presents itself again.
Right. So I think I would have. So it's one thing to be confident on the outside, and there's another to be confident on the inside. I think as a very young woman, I had some gifts and qualities and skills that perhaps, I doubted a little bit. And so what I would do differently is to put myself out there more, to take on more opportunities without fear. To be bold, to be brazen, to tell people more, tell more people about what I do and how I do it. And not so much as a businesswoman, more so earlier in my career, especially when I was working in Hollywood. That was I was a network television writer at the age of 25 on a show called Built to Last that was doomed by the title because it wasn't built to last. It only lasted for 3 episodes. But it was an amazing experience to be at that level at such a young age. But I was quaking on the inside a little bit. I was scared to, I was excited, but I was scared. I was working with some of the best, comedic geniuses ever, these writers in the writer's room. I also worked as a writer's assistant on Living Single and the Wayans Brothers before that. And these people were amazing, and it was nothing for them to go into improv, and, have these crazy moments. And I was thinking, I'm not as funny as they are. How are they doing this? But then as I got older, had more experiences, I realized that, a couple of things. First of all, funny is relative. We all have humor within us, you know. So some of the comedy, you asked me about my hobbies, some of the comedy that happens in my house, skits with my kids, could have been on television. Because I hate to say it, we clown all the time. We, you know, all the time.
Right.
But also writing, sitcom writing and other types of writing, you know, it's about more than just the joke. You know, you need strong structure, you need character development, you know, the story arc. You really need to understand where this character is going. So I think that I would have, you know, just held my head up a little higher. It was already high, but I would have held it up a little higher, and I would have just,
Probably
you know, seized the day.
More opportunity.
Right.
I think one of the things that, so a good friend of mine who is actually going to be on the show, this show had developed or started, and he used to always tell me I should be doing something different. I have a certain personality, and you know, I mean, I had other stuff going on, but I think in terms of doing something different, I said, hey, you know what? You know, I started this because I got sick. I said, you know, I can do this. I'm pretty good at making folks feel comfortable and having conversations with them, and people. I know people, and then the people I know, people want to know about them people. Right. So it kind of fits well.
So what would you do differently? If I can ask you a question on your show.
Absolutely. Well, and I answer right after this break. No. But what I would do differently is I would do the same thing. I would seize the moment. I saw a clip from Will Smith, the actor, and he really, you know, his whole The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, how he got that role was, you know, Quincy Jones. It was at somebody's house, and the dude was like, hey, he had the script for it. I want you to read this script. And Will literally was like, I'm not, you know, come back in another week.
Right. I think I did hear this. Yeah.
And Quincy told him, okay, you know what's going to happen? He's going to be busy. He said, you need to do this right now. So long story short, that's Will Smith's story. But I think, again, seizing that moment.
Right.
And be ready for any opportunity that presents itself.
Yep.
You know, because I did do some stand-up, but I had to stop that because I had the responsibilities. But at any rate, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Because, you know, we got sponsors and bills to pay.
Got to pay the bills.
That's what they say. I don't like saying that. That's so cliche.
Bills are real.
Oh! We'll be right back. Living a Rich Life. Christina Royster.
Like, the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like, yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. Feel me? So no matter what you up to, just go hard. Don't matter. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father dead. Mom bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money, so you seen it's less than all your friends. But it a joke because your mother was a crackhead.
Minute and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange radio show.
Any trouble, because I get into any trouble, but I had a problem that this then became a discussion at that workplace environment. Now, the discussion was I should have been more sensitive. In what way was my first response? And I guess when I had to meet with that said person who had the issue with the person who was said leader of that organization, I said, well,
you are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Yours is up. And we're live. Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show. Again, featuring the lovely, talented Christina Royster. I got to tell you, I'm still laughing. She said, bills are real, and she ain't never lied. She ain't never lied. So, but we're going to keep it going. In terms of, again, we share with how to contact you. So since we're talking about bills, is big media agency expensive? Right? Does it depend on a package? What kind of things that given all the different services? So tell us something about that.
So I'm not going to throw out numbers here today.
Absolutely.
So it depends on the services. It depends not just on the type of service, but it depends on the depth of service.
Okay.
How many hours are required on a project. When I talk to clients, I don't typically talk to them about hours, but I know internally what the billing is going to need to be. We typically try to work with clients kind of where they are, but it's not, look, since bills are real, it's not free. So let's just be clear. But clients have purchased anything from a marketing plan to help to guide them internally to a full-scale campaign. So it really just kind of depends on the level of need.
Gotcha. Okay, and that makes sense. That makes sense to me. If we can get big media agency to cut Living a Rich Life talk show a check to be a sponsor. Or we could do the barter system. Don't be looking up there.
I'm looking for the check right up there.
Right. Okay. We was talking offline. No, it's all jokes in here. It's all jokes. But again, we've worked together and we've been pretty successful in that. And I know we will continue to work together and more to come. Got more to come. I got T-shirts I need and everything else. And because you did recommend I put what was it, the
website on
the website.
But you didn't do that.
No, this was the first version.
Oh, okay.
This is the first version. Yeah, we got a mug for you somewhere. This is a prop right now.
Oh, okay, just a prop.
This is a prop.
Okay.
Right now, hopefully they should be able to see that. It's empty. I'm gonna need something later. All right, Miss Royster. All right. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We asked about that. So I see you looking at my teleprompts.
Big part of marketing is knowing what's coming next.
Oh, well, you ain't gonna see this coming.
Oh no!
So what's
set myself up again?
No. So let's talk about the social scene, right? So you got all that good stuff. Are you dating? What's your story?
That question's not allowed. This is about big media agency.
Well, it's part of it. But since you want to be like that, she just hit me that it's my show.
Huh?
It's my show.
Are you? What about you? Are you dating since it's your show?
No, I'm not dating.
Okay.
I'm not dating.
So what's the next question?
There you go. So anyway, I thought that was good. The time ain't going by any faster.
Okay.
Oh goodness. So when it comes to your clients, I don't believe you. I should have prepped it for it. When it comes to your clients, what do you look for when it comes to a client?
So any good marketer is going to size up a client and understand what their strengths and liabilities are. In business, we might call this a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's all about positioning. So it's about magnifying the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses. So I look for clients who have, first of all, a great product to sell, be it themselves or be it what they're quote unquote selling. I look for clients who are open to new ideas.
Okay.
So I think, I'm not sure if I read it in Ad Age or somewhere else, but the whole idea of using an agency is clients should want to be pushed to the next level.
Right.
If the agency makes you feel too comfortable and you're just doing the same old thing you've always done, probably not the best agency for you. You know, they're supposed to amplify your profile and really provide a platform for what you're trying to do.
Okay. So let's play this either or game. So you look at you're challenging or difficult guess.
Difficult? Don't put me in that box.
I'll put you in the circle then. I gotta put you in no box. It's still all. There's no corners, but
no corner.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So the game is either or.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 2 words. You gotta decide which one you would lean to more than the other. Okay.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, definitely.
I didn't
no
get
joke.
it out. Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Okay. Movie theater or Netflix?
Movie theater.
Okay. Night owl or early riser?
Night owl.
Shower or bath? You make it sound like you don't bathe.
Depends on how much time I have.
Okay. Bath. Okay. All right. We'll give you that one. We'll give you that one. All right. We got a few more. We're gonna give to you. All right. Are you into sports?
I am what you call a fair weather sports person. So I'll watch during the playoff and the final games.
Gotcha.
But only in terms of order: basketball, then maybe football, but mostly basketball.
Okay.
Not all the time. Not every year.
Gotcha.
Maybe every other.
All right. I'm gonna give you some food. Green beans or broccoli?
Broccoli.
Yes. I knew you was a broccoli type of gal. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Oh, I'm waffles. Waffles is Jello or pudding?
Neither.
Oh, yeah.
Pudding if it's banana.
Oh, okay. Grapes or oranges?
Grapes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna talk. So comedy or thrillers?
Comedy.
Yeah. Oh, this might be a difficult one. Romance or documentaries?
Ooh, that's
romantic
tough.
Or documentaries, yeah.
I'm gonna go with documentaries today. That's how I'm feeling today.
Today, okay. And I think you touched on this earlier. Paperback book or audiobook?
Audiobook. I hate to say it.
Audio? So the audiobooks is it Michelle Obama's voice? Okay, so then it would be your voice for your books.
Right. Well, no. So, not every person who has an audiobook out is the narrator of the book.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people try to do that to enhance the connectivity between the actual product, the book, and the audience. Most people want to hear Michelle Obama's voice over,
right.
Jane Doe's voice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna take a break because that's what we do again. Because the bills are real. We'll be right back. Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Christina Royster here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go. Nigga, chose by
thought you was gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is. 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is
like
I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred. You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught, point blank, period.
Straight up.
My daughter came home and told me that her white teacher was black. Maybe it's because it's how she treated her. She don't see any color. But when it comes to all her friends, all her friends are mixed. All of her friends have a white parent, black, African, Hispanic, other parent.
So
children don't see color. You breed your children. Not breed.
Right.
You raise your children to see that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They don't see racism.
Well, I guess
I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of two kids, and it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of two kids, and you put it in front of a kid, and you ask them which one is the nice one.
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We shared the same respect. What is happening?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life Talk Show. I am your host, the one and only Rich James. I am here with Christina Royster, and we're laughing and joking and all this good stuff. So we're having a good time. We're coming up on the top of our hour. We've been spending so much time; it flies by so quickly.
Indeed.
Yeah, but we're gonna a few other questions, and then we're gonna bring it home.
Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So what are you working on now? I don't think we've touched that so much, right? What are you working on now? What projects that you can share? What are you working on now? What's the future look like?
So I definitely cannot go into specifics, but I can tell you that Big Media Agency is about the business of really promoting influencers and trying to get them onto global and national stages. And by stages, I don't necessarily mean actual stages as speakers, although that is a part of what we do. I mean getting them out there to the masses. So we've been doing that for some high-profile folks. I can't really share who they are. Some of whom are very successful in the entertainment industry, some of whom are very successful in the entrepreneurship realm, multi-million-dollar profiles, etc. And then we're also always looking for technology tools, not just to use internally through the agency, but to acquire, products to help media thrive in general. So those are some of the things that we're up to.
Okay. If you had one message to give supporters out there, or someone wanting to start their own small business, what would that message be?
That message would be to start with, make sure that you research all of the resources. So not just funding opportunities, but also, what is available to you at the state level, at the city level. Who are the alliance, who are the people you can form partnerships with, allies with, in order to help your business succeed. And don't just assume that people know who you are and what you do. Get the information out there so that they have a clear understanding of, what your goals are, what kind of clients you want to attract, and the help that you need. A lot of people will help if they know exactly, what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Mostly. You got a couple of individuals that.
Well, right. So my always looking through. I'm always looking through a positive lens.
Okay.
So people who are naysayers or not positive or bring negative energy, I just automatically just move them out of the equation, so to speak, because they're really not relevant.
Right.
I just can't have that kind of negativity in my space because I'm really focused on positivity and bringing positive experiences to me.
I'll drink to that.
Where's the drink?
So I don't have one.
Okay, the proverbial drink.
Right.
Okay.
Nice. So would you consider yourself a rule breaker? Because we're having conversation and again, you run a company, so do you consider yourself a rule breaker?
So that's interesting that you say that. So some years ago,
I seen how you drive. Go ahead.
Shh, don't tell anybody about my driving.
I ain't say nothing.
So years ago, I wrote a script. It was an episode of a show called For Your Love. It starred Holly Robinson Peete. Okay. And the episode was about how Holly's character got really upset because she was told that she was rigid. And so she was the type of person who always colored within the lines. I do not always color within the lines. I am a rule breaker when there's a good reason to break the rule. I don't just break rules just because. Right. I'm not I don't have a death wish. I don't break traffic rules just, because, I don't go down one side of the street when you're supposed to go down the other side. Although that happened to me mistakenly once, and it was so terrifying I never made the same mistake again. But I think there are some times when you have to step out of your comfort zone, do something that people aren't expecting. And I don't think that you should necessarily follow the rules all the time, especially when you need to prioritize self, well-being, those types of things. So I'm a rule breaker when I need to break the rules, but I decide when that is.
Okay, I'm ready. Break some rules. Yes, indeed. So, in terms of some of the contracts and agreements, is there any ones that you won't do, right? So ones that are small versus larger scales, right? Because I did a little research, so I know that you've done some things with big folks, big companies, but what about for those smaller companies?
So we don't really exclude anyone, by definition, we help small to large businesses.
Okay.
So again, it's about what the client's needs are, and sometimes it's about those needs as it relates to budget. I'm not going to prescribe a doctor won't prescribe a treatment plan if he knows he can't reach the goal, of wellness.
Right.
I'm not going to give a client, a small budget or contract when I know that what they really need is a larger one to meet the need to get them where they need to be.
Okay. Ooh. So
you're running out of questions over there, aren't you?
It has nothing to do with it. I'm trying to make sure I asked you the necessary questions since you shut me down earlier.
I broke the rules.
Broke the rules. Yeah. Oh yeah, you sure did. Look, how about that? So around this time, which is where I asked that second question that I mentioned.
second question?
Yeah.
What was
There's
that?
2 questions that I always ask. The first, in the beginning, tell us who is
Christina Royster.
Right.
Right.
The second is, what does living a rich life
yes, I was waiting for this.
mean to you?
So.
And you take as much time as you need.
3 hours?
No, I mean. Now she got jokes. 3 hours. You go right ahead. You will just be working around you.
Right.
We'll be gone. Okay. So really, all jokes aside, and I like to generally, when I say, what does living a rich life mean to you? I generally, again, I put it together in 6 elements as it refers to me. I see it in this order. Again, the good health, strong relationships, the financial freedom, the goals and achievement, extraordinary experiences, and then the philanthropy. That's me in that order. When I talk to folks, and I ask this to all my guests, the responses, for the most part, they play a little more in certain areas. But at the end of the day, I think the message was the same. I did go out and do a poll at one point in time. The younger folks, it was all material things. And then I did some older people, and the first thing they said was good health. So that is my preamble. Now, you, please tell me.
So, if I took all 6 of these things, if I looked at what they all are hinged by, or what is the commonality, for me it would be quality of life. So this describes a quality of life that I think most people would want to aspire to, right?
I like that quality.
You want to be healthy. Health is really important. If you don't have good health, you can't move the way you want to move. You can't do some of the things you want to do. You don't feel well. It's difficult to work, to think creatively, etc., if you don't feel well. Strong relationships. There's a movie, I can't remember the quote, but, what's the point of, you getting to a certain place without having anybody to share it with? Having people around you who will celebrate you and who you can celebrate when they have successes, I think is really important. Financial freedom, I think, unfortunately, in this instant gratification type of society in which we live, that really elevates people of a certain caliber or pedigree, like, the sports star or the actor, actress, or director or whatever. I think people miss the point on financial freedom. Financial freedom does not mean necessarily that you're rich, although I would like to be rich. Let me just be clear. It does not necessarily mean that you're rich. It means that you're able to take care of your responsibilities and that you create a life for yourself that has a level of ease. You're not stressed about, the bills and, what's coming in and out of your account. So that also can relate to quality of life, right? Because that enhances the quality of your life. Goals and achievements, everybody wants to be proud of themselves for the things that they are doing. There are things that I've achieved in my life that I'm proud of, but I have more goals. I want to keep on growing, and so growth is a big goal of mine. So that adds to my quality of life, being able to reach those things. I think of the 6 pillars, and this may go to what the young people are saying, extraordinary experiences is key. If you think about your childhood, or if you sit around maybe with your cousins or friends from way back, everybody says, you remember when such and such happened? You remember when that happened? It's extraordinary to you. It's memorable. Memorable, extraordinary experiences add to the quality of your life, partially because you can always think back to something that you enjoyed, that was funny, when you met that celebrity, I don't know, I have a friend who's been running a lot of races. When you got to the finish line, whatever that definition of extraordinary means for you, that's of great value. Now, the philanthropy piece, I think that's something that we all need to look at a little differently too. So when we think about this big word philanthropy, we think, we need to reach in our pockets and give hundreds of thousands of dollars to an organization. But that is not necessarily true, especially in this modern definition. Philanthropy may just be, repeatedly supporting an organization, giving them what you can, looking for opportunities to give of yourself in greater ways. But the bottom line is that there are spiritual laws that are enacted when you give. Period. When you give, it actually creates opportunities. Not that you give so that things come back to you, but it creates that kind of atmosphere.
Right.
So that also adds to your quality of life. So to me, living a rich life, both as you've described here and very generally, just means living a high quality life.
Well said. Okay, I like that. You touched each area, and that makes sense to me. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. So, I wanted to go back, even though you don't want to talk about not. So again, we mentioned a few tips in terms of developing the strong relationships, right? Accept and celebrate differences. Have you had some relationships where you were challenged with, your differences?
I have.
You're an AKA, it might have been a Delta.
I have many friends who are Deltas. Don't put that out there.
Yeah, I know. It's all jokes.
Although we know who's the first and the finest. Okay, excuse me. I didn't.
Oh, goodness.
There's no question about that. Okay. All my Delta friends on Facebook, don't hate. I love y'all. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, goodness. So anyway, differences with those relationships. How do you handle those differences, right? I mean, accept and celebrate the differences. How would you handle those in terms of your relationships, right? I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
I'll go first, right? So I know there's certain individuals when I do go out that I can't go with them because if they're not having a good time, they're gonna be ready to go. But I'll go with somebody else. I'll tell them about it, but again, instead of the whole carpooling thing, they got to drive their damn self, right?
Right.
So that's how I handle. That's just an example of going out and doing things, because at the same time, if I'm not having I'm gonna have a good time. But if I'm ready to go, then I just sit back and play my position until it's time to go. So understanding that, and I got some pretty strong relationships that kind of experience that, right? So that's just one example. Do you find yourself experience those types of things too, or is just somebody just a hot mess, right?
I don't think I have. I think a lot of my friends
are hot messes.
No. Are highly organized. I think because, and I'm, okay, let me say that differently. I think because I'm more of a creative spirit, I've just been typically drawn to people who are highly organized. Not saying that with creativity comes disorder, but creative spirits are often like thinking about a bunch of different things at the same time. So for some reason, I just draw people to me who are just like, just kind of have it together. As it relates to relationships, you asked me how do I manage kind of difficult relationships, or
it's just more to celebrate the differences. I think you did answer what my question is. If you want to add on that, that's fine.
I think people really need to look at the quality of their relationships, and if relationships are toxic, they are going to affect you. They're going to affect your well-being. They're going to affect your day-to-day. And I think you have to manage those relationships just like you'd manage anything else. Your job, your checkbook, your family. Because I think there are people out there who unfortunately want to, everybody's not always happy for you.
Right. A friend of mine said that. She said that to me. I was sharing my story. She said that to me. Everyone's not. That's so true. Okay. Do you think you're an effective listener?
Most days. most times. I try to listen.
How's your memory? How's your memory?
My memory is terrible. I'm not gonna lie.
Short-term memory.
So let me say this. I help myself make lists a lot.
Okay.
I had a car accident a while back that kind of affected my memory. I'm just kind of getting in a better place with that because in marketing you have to be sharp. I've helped myself by I make lists all the time. I write things down quite a bit. When I say my memory, I mean like things that happened a while back. I might have to really think about and say, oh yeah, but that may just be. I'll say growing with grace instead of getting older. That just may mean
true.
That it happened years ago. So memory is fuzzy.
It's fuzzy. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what I had for breakfast. It's probably because it was nothing. Since I'm just saying though. Okay. Give people your time was the other thing.
Time.
Right? That's important because respecting people's time is very important. Would you agree?
It's very important, definitely.
Okay, sure. How we communicate. You saying something? I think I hear that. Oh, we coming back. All right. So we're gonna take a break. I tell you, boy, this never gets old having someone else talking in your ear.
Right.
It's like you got the guy up here and the guy over there. Said there ain't no guy over there. So anyway, we'll be right back. We're gonna take a break. More Christina Royster here on Living a Rich Life Talk Show. BeExposedRadio.com. Stay with us. We're almost through.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I have to do it, yes. Oh, all right, we're back. We was talking offline. We hungry, right? Oh, good. All right. Neither did you. All right, so we're back. Living a Rich Life. Rich James, Christina Royster. We talking about food. So before we wrap up, again, let's tell folks how they can stay in contact with you.
So you may go to bigmediaagency.com to reach Big Media Agency. You may also follow Big Media Agency on Facebook at Big Media Agency and on Instagram at Real Big Media Agency. And you may reach out to me on Instagram at Big Media CEO or on Twitter at Big Media CEO.
Twitter? They still use Twitter?
It has some uses. It's a microblog.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Has some
I
uses.
just know the
Instagram is all the rage, though.
Right, yeah. Instagram is the hot thing. So real quick, again, want to let folks know this weekend, Saturday and Sunday is the Nighttime Brunch Festival from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Saturday and 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. It's $15 one day for each day, Saturday and Sunday, or the weekend is $25 for the 2 days. So it's a family-friendly, no backpacks or pets allowed So some of y'all can't bring your significant others. No, I'm just playing. But it's going to be a good time. You can check them out. You can go to thenightbrunch.com. What I'm doing is I do have some passes. So if you follow me, I will recognize this is for new followers, and I will get you. I'll get you a pass to Saturday or Sunday. Okay. So again, the nighttime brunch, good time, good folks, family friendly. Be sure to check that out. So that's my plug for today on that. So we did the Heart Walk, we did Bourbons and Boy Shorts, right? With the podcast talk show mixer and the nighttime brunch. All good events happening this weekend. Well, actually, this weekend's the night brunch. Next week is the Bourbon and Boy Shorts presents the mixer. Right before
Homecoming.
MSU's
homecoming.
You better get your mind right.
October 12th. Do not miss it.
You ain't, I don't know about you.
You better get your outfit together. I'm wearing a suit today, so I can't be like,
Oh, true. It was hot. Today was a hot day.
It was hot.
It was a hot day.
It's too hot for the suit today.
Yeah, but you look nice.
Oh, thank you.
That's. It's hot, but you don't look hot.
Yes, you must always look cool.
Yeah, you did. I said, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Plus, it's blue. It's not
Morgan.
Sigma blue, but it's nice. Yeah, the pearl. So she looks nice. Big Media Agency, CEO Christina Royster. I am your host, Rich James. Living a Rich Life talk show. All right. What I'm going to ask you to do now pretty much is standard procedure. Okay. I want you to tune in next week. Living a Rich Life talk show features another Morgan State University alumni, my good friend, Mr. Derek Chase, and he's going to be on my show. We're going to talk some more Morgan stuff. We're going to talk about some of the events and parties that's going on. A lot of socializing happening this weekend, next weekend with the homecoming. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Going to see some of my line brothers that I haven't seen in a while. So again, tune in next week. We'll have Derek Chase, Living a Rich Life talk show right here, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. BeExposedRadio.com.
BeExposedRadio.com. What?
Say, let's talk about it.
Oh, let's talk about it.
My girl, Christina Royster. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. Until next week, again, Living a Rich Life talk show. I'm your host. As always, thank you for watching and tuning in. Have a good evening.
That's good.
Ooh.